We're going to call, Gordon, are you ready? Okay, sorry. We're going to call to order the special Bryant Planning Commission meeting of March 24th, 2025. We'll have a roll call.
Staton,
Here.
Hooten,
Here.
Penfield,
Here.
Johnson,
Here.
Thompson,
Here.
Edwards, Irwin,
Here.
Speed.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. We don't have any minutes tonight for approval, so we're good there. You have any announcements, Colton or Ted?
I'm gonna do a little legislative update from what
Yes.
we've been hearing from the House.
Yes.
And the Senate. I'm gonna do that at the very end though, so we can go ahead and get through some of these items with
All right.
everybody else.
And then the only other announcement is we are putting out for advertisement for the comprehensive growth plan will be started this weekend.
Perfect.
Right.
Thank you for that.
Good job, Ted.
We will be developing the committee for the rate and rating of that. So we're thinking there will be probably at least one or two commissioners on that committee.
Perfect. Only other announcement I have, it's the chairman's fault for the long agenda of the special meeting, because the DRC, I kept adding things to it, so thank y'all for being here tonight. Our DRC report, Andrea Hooten will read
All
it.
right. Hawkins Valley Phase 1 preliminary plat, Garnett Engineering requesting recommendation for preliminary plat approval. That was recommended for approval. Second is 505, 509, and 513 Boswell Road, which is one is sidewalk waiver. Carla Baggett requesting recommendation for approval of that waiver, and that was recommended. The Hills, Phase 3, Lot 20, 1120 Hillsborough Road, replat. Chad Taylor requesting recommendation for approval of the replat. Recommended approval contingent upon an updated plat showing the existing sewer easement. And last is Dunlap Commercial Plaza on Dale Drive. Hope Consulting requesting approval for commercial subdivision plat and waiver on Half Street improvements. It was recommended for approval contingent upon updated plat showing sewer easement that connects to the lot east of the subdivision.
All right, thank you, Andrea. No old business, and we'll move right into our new business of the evening. Item 5, Hawkins Valley Phase 1 preliminary plat. Garnett Engineering requesting preliminary plat approval. Mr. Williams.
I think when we ended this last meeting, you were wanting some direction from your city staff. I think I said everything I needed to say last meeting, so I just turned it over to them.
I think Colton has a report. Our attorney's out of town.
Ashley is out of town, so she's not able to make it tonight. I did ask her about the question on the comprehensive plan, and that versus kind of like our zoning code and what the comprehensive plan is. She stated that in Arkansas, a municipality is not required to follow the density recommendations in a comprehensive plan, as a comprehensive plan itself is considered a guiding document rather than a legally binding regulation. However, zoning ordinances which are derived from the comprehensive plan are legally enforceable.
Sounds good.
All right.
I'm satisfied
Any
with that.
questions from any commissioners of Colton and his attorney's opinion?
Any changes at all in anything here?
So,
Okay.
I have to go back to DRC if I did that.
Need to smile.
Okay.
So, to refresh our memory, it's Phase 1 of Hawkins Valley subdivision, Spring Hill Road, 30 lots,
32.
32, but only 30 will get permitted until there's a secondary entrance. No waivers or variances that are being requested. Any other? It's preliminary plat approval. Basically, other than the question of the comprehensive plan, it came recommended from DRC as meeting all the specs. All right? We ready for a roll call vote? Let's do it.
Johnson,
Yes.
Staton,
Yes.
Irwin,
Yes.
Speed,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Hooten,
Yes.
Edwards, Penfield.
Yes. Okay. Preliminary plat passes. All right, item number 6, which is 2 under new business, 505, 509, 513, Boswell sidewalk waiver. Carla Baggett requesting recommendation for approval of a sidewalk waiver. There was much discussion involving a lot of water issues. I think Ted's going to
Sure.
update us on this.
Basically, the section of Boswell that this runs is very narrow. It is not curb and gutter. There is an open ditch line. There is currently no sidewalk along that side. There is a brand-new sidewalk on the north side that serves access to the school. It was just one of those that we looked at several times, and there was just no way to actually get a good sidewalk to fit within this area that would serve the purpose that an open ditch would serve as being able to handle the drainage.
Ted, did we give a waiver for the big house on the corner on
We
that
did-
backside?
We did not waiver the side on the east side that runs north and south.
Right, we wavered the Boswell side,
That's
correct?
correct.
Same,
Which is the same side as hers.
That's correct.
Is
for
there-
this, whoops, I'm sorry, for the same reasons. correct?
For the-
Yeah, I mean, I remember
Yeah.
us giving a waiver for those reasons, and I've been by there, I go by there all the time cutting to my house, and it just isn't a good place for a sidewalk. It would be right in the middle, in driveways would be blocking the sidewalk because of how big that curb is.
Isn't there a trail going through there? Am I dreaming that?
You mean on the
We're
trail
supposed to,
program?
yeah.
It was originally out there, and they got removed because it was not possible to put one down.
Okay,
It's got a sidewalk on the other side.
It does. It
Yeah,
does, and
that
it's
was-
on the school property.
a good reason.
Built on school when they developed.
This, of course, will have to go, with y'all's recommendation, we'll have to go to city council for approval.
Any other questions on the waiver of the sidewalk? The recommended DRC approval. We will have a roll call vote.
Irwin,
Yes.
Putin,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Stoughton,
Yes.
Speed,
Yes.
Benfield.
Yes. Right, it was approved. Item 7 on our agenda, the Hills Phase 3, Lot 20. It's 1120 Hillsborough Road, replat. Chad Taylor requesting approval for replat. Just kind of, Mr. Taylor, if you want to
Yes.
tell us what's going on.
So when we went to the DRC meeting, they just asked us to show the sewer easement, which I have sent to Colton. I have copies here if I need to.
And just as a, I know Colton could tell you, as an update, if you didn't see DRC, I mean, it's involving a setback issue, correct?
Yes, sir.
On an existing structure that's there and some title work, going to try to close on a loan or a sale or
Yes.
something in that order, and it has a encroachment into a setback. And so you either tear the building down or you replat it, or they take exception to it. And as far as his replat, the only issue we had was not showing a sewer main line that went across. That sum it up?
That does exactly.
And since it was something that was pretty a hardship on these guys, we went ahead and said, let's do it tonight. So, thank you. Any questions?
I'll just add that it has been before the county planning board as well.
That's right.
And they didn't have any comments on it, and they recommended, approved it to pass on the planning commission.
All right. Anything else? We'll have a roll call vote. Thank you.
Putin,
Yes.
Irwin,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Speed,
Yes.
Stoughton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Benfield.
Yes. It passed. We can get the plats signed maybe tonight. They won't hang around. Is that okay?
Oh, I don't know if you're gonna do that paper.
Sorry. I mean, just, okay. All right, we're moving on. Number 8 on our agenda, Dunlap Commercial Plaza, Dell Drive. Hope Consulting requesting approval for a commercial subdivision plat and a waiver of half-street improvements. Their site plan was approved, the Dunlap site plan was approved at DRC, so this is a plat that plats it into 2 lots, basically, and should conform with all of our subdivision regs based on DRC approval, and then a waiver of the half-street improvements to match another development over there. John?
You're great. You're great. You don't even need me.
He's got it.
Yeah, he's
Try to
got it.
remember.
You finally realize that.
That's right. So this is a commercial subdivision plat, just as he mentioned. We're dedicating about 13 and a half feet on that south side to get it to the long-term master street plan, which is a collector on Dale. We are asking for that waiver for the half-street improvements. This street already is about 34 feet wide, back of curb to back of curb. You know, your collector's 36, so we're right there. I mean, this street's in great shape with curb already. If you look at this, kind of an aerial of this, I mean, we've got less than 90-degree turn just east of this. So, I mean, widening this out is just going to make traffic go faster. So if you go down to Ridgecrest, you can see that turns back even more than 90. So to tear out all of that curb, and then there's also underground storm boxes, 2 of those on our property, just for approximately 2 feet would be extremely expensive on this little parcel here. So that's why we're asking for that. In this case, you know, Dell, although a collector, you know, it's half the traffic. If you look at RDOT, it's something like Boone or North Lake. There's just not, it's feeding that little neighborhood behind it. But besides that, the traffic's really minimal. And so those are some of the reasons that, you know, I think that, you know, this waiver makes sense. I don't typically ask for these waivers, but this one in this case, I think, makes sense. It came recommended from DRC for that waiver. And then the developers, the owners are here tonight. And if you have any questions or anything for them, they're happy to speak as well.
And you're not getting a waiver on the sidewalk though.
Right,
It's still
right.
going to be there.
Right.
Get to side. So a background too.
Yeah, give me the background.
This subdivision, I was here with it now, it was approved as a Lowe's development subdivision with those streets built to that width to handle. So it's not just a city street, it was built as part of the Lowe's for those out parcels to be there.
But somebody came in to make it collector and we voted not to, but the planning took it to city council and got it changed to a collector. And Modern Storage had to widen it out 2 feet.
They had to modify it out because of the size and the density and the proximity of their buildings to see how close it is to the road there. I mean, for stacking and accessibility, but they did. It wasn't a full half-street improvement, it was an added.
Yeah, because the city owns the property on down to your right.
That's correct. And also too, knowing that the people that are going to be using the storage center are going to be pulling trailers and things like that, so the widening made sense on that side of the road.
And they're building close. So we're gonna take it in 2 votes. The preliminary plat was, first, the commercial subdivision plat, or its final plat, I'm sorry, was submitted. No variances on the plat. I mean, it conforms with, did they get the easement shown for the sewer?
We added that on that south side, so we had a 10-foot there, and so we widened that out to 20 on the south side and moved that building setback another 10 feet back as well. So you have a sewer main on that west side of that access drive there. There's 2 manholes there already, so we might be able to utilize one of those existing manholes. If not, worst case scenario, we could come up to the north just with that fire hydrant and drop a new manhole and extend over to the east as well.
Any other questions of Jonathan on the preliminary or the final plat? We'll have a roll call vote on the final plat.
Johnson,
Yes.
Hooten,
Yes.
Irwin,
Yes.
Speed,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Statton,
Yes.
Penfield.
Yes. Plat is approved. You can sign it tonight, I'm sure, if it's there. And the waiver for the half-street improvements as presented will be the next vote. And a roll call vote.
Irwin,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Hooten,
Yes.
Statton,
Yes.
Speed,
Yes.
Penfield.
Yes. Okay, it passed and the waiver's approved here, so it doesn't go to city council. All right, there'd be one more motion.
Oh, let's get, whoa, whoa, whoa.
We got a report.
That cut him out.
Cut him out. Hey, Jay, you talking about me being
Steve,
vicious?
it's all,
Hey, you talking about me vicious?
He sent a note down to me saying he's gonna do that. I'm just kidding.
he's on, I got my timer on, so.
I'll try to be pretty brief here. So I did send out an email a while back, let y'all know about House Bill 1754, which is the Private Property Protection Act, and then Senate Bill 456, which was the Home Opportunities Made Easier Act. So the 1754, House Bill 1754, based on other people that I've talked with, and some of the members of APA, Arkansas, they indicate that that bill is dead right now.
Good, good.
So they don't see that it's going to come back, just from where it's at right now, given the time period of where you're at in the legislative session. However, I know we're still watching it pretty closely to make sure they don't try to push it through.
Right. Who sponsored that bill?
That one,
Is that the one out of
Benton County? Or
Benton or Cleveland, or Van
It was
Buren?
business. Well, yeah, you might be right.
There was one of them sponsored out of Van Buren.
I've forgotten, what drove them to want to get that through?
That's my question.
yeah, that's my question.
What's the root of all of this?
Evil.
so I believe,
You're here,
give me just a second.
in order.
Gonzalez is the sponsor on that one.
I took it as one of them, I don't remember, it was more of a local.
Well, I know we did
I'm
the,
not sure what kind of really pushed it. I know there was some similar legislation passed or proposed, I don't remember if it was passed or not, in Montana earlier this year. And it wasn't passed, it was almost passed, but it was very similar kind of layout. And it's the second one, the Senate Bill 456, which is the Home Opportunities Made Easier Act. That was actually a kind of a think tank legislation that was kind of one big legislation that a lot of people are taking into different states to try to get passed. So it's kind of coming from an overall organization. That specific one, has been pulled from the bill to calendar on the Senate on Thursday. Senator Petty, who's the sponsor for that, is working on amendments to it. And we don't know what those will look like right now. Senator Petty has heard the concerns and will likely be looking for something very scaled back. He has a strong interest in zoning reform and may be coming from a good place. That, from what I've heard, will take some time to get amended, kind of how he wants, and there's a lot of changes and a lot of stuff they have to kind of work through for that specific bill. So we don't know if it's actually going to come all the way through this legislative session or not. But again, we're watching that pretty closely to see, especially our friends over at Arkansas APA. The other two, or I guess there's three other ones that I'll let you know about. One kind of bad, that's kind of a big one again. Senate Bill 518, and it was a bill that was filed which would place limitations on the regulations that city and county governments can enact in their FEMA special flood hazard areas. So it would restrict what a city or county can enforce in those in floodplains, floodways. Basically, you wouldn't be able to enforce anything or have any regulations that are stronger than what FEMA already has in place as their base regulations. Two other ones, they're actually kind of good bills. One is Senate Bill 505.
Wait a minute, what was the status of that one you just went over?
So that one's been filed. It is still in the Senate City Local Committee, and we assume it'll be heard April 1st at that committee, so when they come back from spring break.
So Ted is an example of that 2 foot, 3 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we currently, the way we read it is we can be at or more restrict. And our current plan is that on the finished floor elevations of houses within the 100-year floodplain, we observe a 3 foot above flood elevation. and require them to do that.
What's FEMA?
Famous
comply?
too.
And, yeah.
It's
Yes.
3 as well?
No,
No,
it's
it's
two.
two.
It's two.
They're
Okay.
two.
So we recently did that, I
Yeah.
think a year ago.
Yeah.
A little, almost, maybe a little over a year.
It makes sense.
Well, and that came out of some experience where we've seen the flooding in previous buildings that were at that level, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, also too, in the way that they update flood insurance rate maps, it can happen within 3 years of it. You know, it's usually, I think we're still observing the 2019 floodplain map. So it kind of safeguards when they change that, then we've already got that buffer.
And of all things we've done, we had no pushback from the developers.
Nope,
Didn't
no,
have
sir.
anybody come in.
No, I mean, that's one of the things too, is generally when folks have a problem with that, they not only mad at us, they're mad at the developers and home builders that do it too.
Yeah.
So.
So I-
Correct.
Okay, Colton.
Yeah, so that one potentially limits the abilities of cities to enforce any freeboard requirements, zoning requirements, and development regulations, drainage and detention ordinances, and stream side protection ordinances, et cetera. The next one I was going to talk about is Senate Bill 505, which is actually, has to do with administrative rezonings. So this bill, if passed and become an act, would allow cities to adopt an ordinance that would allow for administrative rezonings, which essentially means it's kind of open, so whatever regulations we want to kind of enact, we could regarding it. But for instance, if once we have the new comprehensive plan, if someone that is currently zoned residential, but a comprehensive plan shows that area to be like a commercial corridor, they could come to us and say, hey, we want to go ahead and rezone that to commercial. And we can say, okay, well, since it meets our comprehensive plan, we can go ahead and administratively approve that. So there wouldn't be a full rezoning process where they would have to do the notifications and then go to city council. It would just be done at the administrative level.
Well, administrative could be DRC or a committee or a group.
Yes,
or
it could be as
a
No, you
department.
guys.
scaled back as me and Ted, or it could be all the way up to just you guys or DRC.
Depends on how we write the
Yes.
reg.
It could be
That could be
a
good and bad.
less restrictive version of our our zoning process that we have now, the zoning process. So it's kind of open for interpretation.
So we don't have to have public input on that at all?
It
If
depends
this
on,
were to pass, right?
yes, it depends on what we want to do there.
But in
It
our
kind of
reg.
leaves it open for however we want to do that as administrative.
Just to piggyback on that, administratively, we've talked about DRC having the right in the past, another goal, to approve simple plats, like this replat that have had to wait, a month if it had not happened, that meet the box, per se, not Hawkins Valley preliminary plats that involve a lot of moving parts, but a replat, a two-lot replat. And we need to look back into that, but I didn't mean to digress, but.
That's all good. Another one is Senate Bill 531, which allows for new tools for regulating outside of this city. So as you know, House Bill 1510 passed, and that eliminated the planning area and a lot of that jurisdiction that we had outside the city limits. This Senate Bill 531 would allow for some tools that we can use outside the city limits to still, I guess, proceed and plan in those areas.
Good.
So for instance, like pre-annexation, it has wording for pre-annexation agreements or developer agreements.
And these are areas that exceed the 1 mile.
Because I think that bill has changed, dude. Northwest Arkansas, big push. That's the one who cut down on our planning area.
The original, 5 mile to 1 mile.
Yeah.
And then, let's see,
Was there a Senate bill about the quorum court, ability to take cities' tax money?
I haven't heard of that one.
I got an email from the Arkansas Municipal League about that one in specific, and I thought I sent it to you guys.
I read it, yes, sir.
You read it?
Yeah.
I read
I
it.
don't know if it made it to the
Let's hope it don't go.
passing or not, but that was scary.
It didn't really, it didn't involve planning, but it involved the city.
Yes.
And I think the council should be reading it for sure. But
I know Ashley gets all the all those updates from Municipal League, sent to her from John Wilkerson.
Yeah.
So, mostly I'm just looking at the planning or code enforcement ones on our side. So,
I think you're bringing us up to date.
if y'all have any
Appreciate
specific
that.
questions about any of that, just let me know. I can try to get some answers.
They give him a pat on the back for us. There it goes.
Good deal.
All right, there'd be one more motion.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Can I talk to y'all, Fairfields? Whatever.